I got robbed in my room at gunpoint. And
Gunpoint?
Yeah.
You mean gun?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to go into details, but that experience has changed something in me.
So, still, even now.
Oh yeah. I'm very security conscious. I'm very always looking over my shoulder. I'm very jittery when I'm around. Although it's not as bad as it used to be, but it has carved something in my memory that wherever you go, anybody can be a threat to you. Anybody can do. Somebody's watching you. Somebody can harm you.
Yeah, it happened to my brother and I.
Yeah.
We got attacked. He was attacked at knife points. I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah.
So since then, whenever I'm coming from work and it's like the sun is gone down, I don't pass that particular place.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, I always go and pass another place.
Yeah.
Even when I'm passing that place during the day, I'm always thinking about it, and it has made me very. At another point, I was in a church or like a commercial vehicle where someone's phone got snatched. So
you saw it happen.
Yes. So since then,
you don't take out your phone in church.
I even if I'm by the window, I'll close the window in such a way that someone cannot put their hand inside. And it bothers me because like I wish I was just free, not having to be having these thoughts. Hey, what if somebody takes your phone? Like I'm always thinking of like security. The thing you are saying, security. Even when I was coming here and I was like, hey, who is this Roxanne has made us come and sit? What if somebody? So when I was coming, I was just looking around. They fenced the place. So
you feel better.
I feel better.
Yeah. And it's all right to feel that way, but you see, something happened that has made you extra careful now. It has shaped your worldview.
You are very, very certain that what happened to you when you were 10 years old affected a lot of things in your life. You are very sure. Because someone sitting somewhere will say, no, this thing could have been spiritual, you know? Or you are just overthinking it. It's not that, right?
So now, I mean, for me, I can't speak for others. I'm speaking to my experience and research and observation as well. So you see, in psychology, there's a research that says that your developmental years between 1 to 7 really goes a long way to affect who you are in future. Would you even believe it, that who you are when you were between 1 to 7 years old, like what did you know at that time? Is going to go a long way because that's your formative years where your brain is fully developing. And then after 7 years, you start being conscious of who you are.
That's why we can't remember things from that time.
Good, because at that time you were living in the subconscious. Your brain was in is it beta mode? That's subconscious mode. And you are influenced by everything. So the way your brain is going to be wired in that period is dependent on the people, your environment, basically. Genetics aside, your environment. Who were your caretakers? Were they abusive? Did they neglect you? Were they affectionate? Were they helpful? Were they listening? Were they, did they give you attention? Did they give you all the emotional supports? Were they there for you? Answering that question is going to really reflect in who you are. And so the way our brains are wired really, really is dependent on our early years. So yes, I can say that based on this research, what happened to me in my early years affects me till date. The only difference is that I'm aware and
you're working on it.
I cope better. It's just like living with a condition, and you have your management, you manage it and you cope with it. But a lot of people are not even aware. They don't even believe it. Like you're saying that, it could be spiritual, it could be, well, I don't know about the spiritual, like I don't know. I can't speak for that, but I know that our mindsets, our beliefs, our thought patterns really, really, really has a history.
Well, it does.
It has a history.
I was telling someone recently that I even think Bible characters, some of them went through some trauma.
Oh, if they were human, sure.
Definitely, yes. Our faith and everything is there, but God in his own way has created and given wisdom to experts and people like you to teach others how to cope with trauma, because in the physical, when you get hurt, like really, really hurt, you need to go to a hospital to get it staged, dressed, restaged, all these things so that you not get infected again. So trauma is real, and I want to know, like, how do you think childhood trauma shapes our mindset?
Yes. So as I was saying, it's when you were a child.
For you, what shocks me is that you went through childhood trauma, but you don't look like what you've been through. All the things you are doing, they are so like in a different area from what you have been through.
I'm grateful. It is something that I'm always grateful for, that I don't look like my struggles, or I don't look like what I've been through, and that is actually the goal. And if it's evident, if people can see that this girl doesn't look like, then it means I'm really achieving the goal. And this is not to put up a pretentious face or put up a perfect picture. No. I'm someone that those who really know me, I cry a lot. I'm a crybaby. Like, if something bothers me, I say it, I cry it out, or I voice it out. Like, I give room for my emotions. And that has really helped me. I don't really see it as a weakness. After crying, I'll clean up my face and I'll appear stronger and more poised. And you'll be like, this girl, she has no problem. No, I've just dealt with it in a way that you don't know about. So our mindsets, like I'm saying, what are mindsets? Mindsets are thought patterns, belief systems that have been repeatedly ingrained in our brains. Okay, so you have is your worldview. The way you see the world is different from the way I see the world. And the way you see the world depends on what you've been told over and over and over, what you've experienced over and over and over again. So, for instance, let's say you are Christian and you were born into a Christian family. You've grown to...
Which I wasn't born into a very religious
family.
Okay. But
you grew into
I found
your way
into the church.
Right. And
so you were saying that what maybe people have told you, could it also be what you have told yourself?
Definitely, it becomes a belief. So a belief is I don't know how to put it. A belief is something that you've told yourself enough times, a lot of times. It becomes a belief, whether it's true or false. So beliefs are very powerful. A belief can be false, it can be non-factual, but so far as it's a belief, you can use it to manifest anything.
Okay, so when you were traumatized, what did you believe?
Well, so when I was traumatized, and first of all, let me take it from a general point. When you become traumatized, like I said, the brain is always trying to make you feel safe to survive.
So it's trying to protect itself.
Good.
And protect
you. That is actually your goal in life till we die, because we are all going to die. That's the ultimate goal. But before you die, your body is always trying to preserve you. Your brain is trying to protect you. Now, when you get traumatized, trauma is like an altar. It alters the structure of your brain, your nervous system, and now your brain feels jilted. Like, okay, now we are not safe. We don't feel safe, so now I'm going to do everything for you to feel safe. That's literally what your brain is doing. Now, the way your body or the way your actions are going to manifest that safety is a totally different story. Let me digress a bit. I saw a TikTok video that says that in actual sense, your self-sabotage behaviors or your self-destructive behaviors is literally your brain trying to love you enough to save you.
Wow.
It's quite complicated and deep, but this is your brain. The brain doesn't even know that, okay, what I'm doing is going to cause her harm, but your brain is so invested and committed to making you feel safe that it will tell you, you know what, maybe if you drank alcohol, you feel safe.
Yeah.
Maybe
so for instance, if we are sitting here, we are recording, a snake appears, our brain will say we should run away. And maybe in the process, we hit the tripod and fold. We don't care.
But the brain doesn't know that is going to happen. It's doing its job help that, no, Roxanne is not safe now. What do we do for Roxanne to feel safe? Roxanne is in pain. What do I do to make her feel less pain? Okay, maybe let me make her drink alcohol to numb the pain. But now, coming into overcoming trauma or coping with trauma, you need to be aware that a damage has been caused. And now, you need to be aware that something has happened to you. Number one.
So it's possible that people are traumatized and they don't know what has happened
at all. And that's when they make it seem like, oh, that's how I am. This is who I am. This is who I am. I always have this argument with people like, no, but this is who I am. I'm like, no, it is who you've become. Something happened. And that's why sometimes when people are behaving in a weird way, don't go ahead and just judge. Oh, why are you like that? It's kinder to say what happened to you. Okay. There's a book out by Oprah and one other guy called What Happened to You. If it will help us be more empathetic and kind to people, because people don't just get up and act out. Something triggered somewhere. So coming out of trauma, you need to first know that I'm injured, and because I'm injured, I'm vulnerable or I'm prone to act this way. So now I'm going to safeguard my injury so that I don't harm myself more. But when you're not aware of your injury, and maybe Ukotoje and I say your leg is injured, you will just be walking anyhow and you go and hit your leg somewhere again. So that's why you need to be very aware of your trauma. People need to be aware of their trauma, especially their childhood trauma. The other time I was talking to a friend and I'm like, why do you think you behave the way you do? And they were like, well, I don't know. And I'm like, so tell me about your childhood, like your time with your parents. How was it like? So, oh, we had everything. They provided everything. And I'm like, what about emotional needs? Did they meet your emotional needs? And they were quiet. Because then now, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Because you could grow up in homes where everything is there. There's money, everybody is present, but then emotionally, there's no connection. And human beings, we need connection to thrive. We need to be aware of our trauma, and that's what like one of the
emotional connection. We are social beings.
We are social beings. We need to connect, and that's why when people go like, I don't need anybody. No, you need somebody. You do need somebody. And sometimes, of course, to protect ourselves, like I'm saying again, our brain is protecting us, because the last time your brain remembers that the last time you were with somebody or you depended on somebody, they left you hanging. They betrayed you, they neglected you, they abandoned you. So in order, now your brain has picked up that story and is running with it. So next time when you feel you are getting close to someone, your brain will be like, hey, remember the last time we were close to somebody? Like I give my brain a voice. So when I'm talking like that, this is my brain. Remember when you were close to somebody, you were jilted or you were heartbroken, please don't get close and don't get hurt. But in reality, that's not it. It's just like saying you choked on water, therefore I'm not drinking water again. Honey, you need water to survive. So you need people to survive, but you need to know which people. And the fact that you need people doesn't mean that everybody
just
should
anybody.
Be. That's when you work on your boundaries and all that. That's also a different topic, but let's remain on trauma and mindset. Really what we go through shapes everything. Let's even move away from childhood trauma. I suffered PTSD as well.
Post-traumatic
stress. I'm a PTSD survivor.
We thank God we are
I got robbed. Yes, I got robbed in my room at gunpoint. And
gunpoint?
Yeah.
You mean gun?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to go into details, but that experience has changed something in me.
So, still, even now?
Oh yeah. I'm very security conscious. I'm very always looking over my shoulder. I'm very jittery when I'm around. Although it's not as bad as it used to be, but it has carved something in my memory that wherever you go, anybody can be a threat to you. Anybody can do. Somebody's watching you. Somebody can harm you.
Yeah, it happened to my brother and I.
Yeah,
we got attacked. He was attacked at knife points. I don't know if that's the word.
Yeah.
So since then, whenever I'm coming from work and it's like the sun is gone down, I don't pass that particular place.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, I always go and pass another place. Yeah. Even when I'm passing that place during the day, I'm always thinking about it, and it has made me very. At another point, I was in a church or like a commercial vehicle where someone's phone got snatched. So
You
since
saw it
then,
happen.
yes. So since then,
You don't take out your phone in
I,
church.
I even if I'm by the window, I'll close the window in such a way that someone cannot put their hand inside. And it bothers me because like I wish I was just free, not having to be having these thoughts. Hey, what if somebody takes your phone? Like I'm always thinking of like security.
Good.
The thing you are saying security. Even when I was coming here and I was like, hey, who is this Roxanne has made us come and sit? What if somebody? So when I was coming, I was just looking around.
Yeah.
They fenced the place.
Yeah.
So
You feel better.
I feel better.
Yeah. And it's all right to
uncomfortable.
feel that way, but you see, something happened that has made you extra careful now. It has shaped your worldview. It has affected your mindset. And so when we were young, sometimes we have habits like they have a way when they sweep, they have the way they do their broom. Maybe when they cook, they have the way they cook.
Yeah.
So who taught you that way? Somebody taught you. An experience shaped that mindset or that thought pattern. So if the experience you had growing up was positive, you will have a positive outlook on life. If it was negative, you always be paranoid, you feel unsafe, and you develop certain personality traits. You think that's just how I am. But really, it's debatable, but I don't subscribe to that's just how someone is. No, we are all becoming something. We are from somewhere, and we are always becoming something. So it's at a point, it's always better to question, how did I get here? How did I become this? Because the moment you say that's just how I am, you have dismissed the hope to change.
Okay.
Or the hope for accountability.
The moment you say that's just how I am,
yeah,
you may never change.
You will never change because it is what it is. But the world is not like that. The world is not fixed. The world is not black and white. Everything moves. Everything is in colors. It's never straight and black and white like that. So it's curvy. It's waves. It's in waves. So you just don't get up. And I didn't get up and I became a life coach or a mental health advocate. Something prompted me that, I think I want to do this. Then when you go further, this is my experience. I wish I could use my experience to also teach people that, take care of your mind or do this, or I've been through this before and it's possible to also overcome this. Okay. Something always triggers something.
Okay, so that means there's hope.
Oh yes, there's hope.
There's hope. So there's hope. Somebody out there who feels, hey, my childhood trauma is very serious, like a series of one bad events to another, back to back to back to back, to the extent that a person feels hopeless, lifeless. Like, what do you think the person should do?
So to answer that, let me go a bit into types of trauma. Because like I said,
there are types.
Maybe examples, let me say. Examples.
When I'm just surprised because I used to think trauma is just one. Like I didn't think they were. But
let me say the causes or different factors of childhood trauma, because some of them are things that people don't consider as a problem. Usually when we say childhood trauma, maybe people are thinking of molestation, sexual abuse, physical abuse. Those are the explicit ones that we all can see. But neglect, in fact, according to research in psychology, neglect is one of the biggest causes of trauma in children. The effect of neglect is as big as physical injury or even physical assault. And that goes to show our nature as human beings.
We don't like being neglected.
Nobody likes to be ignored. People neglecting you or ignoring you, it affects your brain like a physical injury. Literally. There's research to back this. That's why it's emotional manipulation or abuse when people give you the silent treatment.
I feel guilty already.
Yeah, we all do this. It's all tactics that we have. It's all us. Everything that I'm saying, we are all the culprits or the perpetrators of all this. We do this. These are all tactics that we use, mechanism to cope. So we all do it. We are all manipulative and toxic in our own ways, but we have levels, of course. But when you withdraw affection, you neglect, you ignore, you pretend you don't see someone, or you pretend they don't exist, is a deep wound. It's deep, it's so deep. And that's one aspect or one factor or one cause of trauma that people don't even think exists. That's why Obi in relationship, when women or men, you don't give me attention, they think you are nagging. But attention is important. Attention is so essential. Like all we want to have as human beings is to be seen. It's a basic human need to be seen, to love and to be loved, to be connected. And so when people detach from you, when people disconnect from you, it does something to your brain.
Yeah.
It does something to your brain. So that's one. Abandonment is also another type of neglect.
One.
I mean, deadbeat dads, deadbeat moms.
I say deadbeats. What's that?
Deadbeats are parents who are not present in their children's lives, who are not actively present in their children's life. So that's also the neglect effect. You are not there to validate your child, to show affection, to show that you are present. How do their brain develop in a positive way? They are always going to have that lack, that cynicism, that skepticism, like the world is not safe, my mother is not here, my father is not here, who is with me? And even physically, when you even go into the biology, or this person is your DNA, and you need them close to you. But when they are not close to you, it affects you. So we have that abandonment. We have abusive parents. That's common. Maybe they abuse substance, they drink alcohol, they are drug addict. And all of this, it all comes down to neglect, because when they are abusing all this, they can't have time for you. Emotionally, they are not available to you. So neglect is a big topic. It's heavy.
Serious.
You know. So, and then we also have sexual abuse, of course, and then we also have comparison. Like there are petty things in families that people think is nothing. When comparing people, between siblings, parents do this unconsciously. It's like, and then also when your value is attached to your labor. This is something that I've seen in a lot of African homes, especially when you're bar, like, you know, you serving people is what makes you a woman.
So it's like an issue of gender.
Gender also can traumatize you, like gender roles being imposed on you, where you are not just allowed to be a child and merit all the love. It has to be merited, it has to be conditional. As a child, before I bit me about our boss say like you were a good child, or you have to pass your grades. There are parents who are so strict that they won't even smile at you if you don't pass your exams. This is not to say that do not pass your exams, but it puts so much pressure, it puts so much burden on the child that if I'm not good in class, then it means I'm not good. That's how the child translates it.
Yeah, for life.
For life. So if you don't validate your child regardless, if you don't give them unconditional love, they struggle to love themselves, because it is out of your unconditional love that they are going to tap in to begin to love themselves. So if a parent, you don't see your child, or if a guardian, a child is not seen, when they grow, they struggle, they don't know themselves. They can't see themselves. They struggle with esteem issues. They struggle with identity issues. They struggle with confidence issues. And then when you struggle with all this, what do? You keep getting into trouble. You keep getting into unfulfilling relationships, abusive relationships, because this is what the pattern you are used to. And you keep going into it until you recognize it. And
I heard that even people who are coming from abusive homes, so if their father was abusive, they always end up dating people who are just
definitely. And do you think like it's because they like it? No, it's not because they like it. It's because this is what they are familiar with. They may hate it, but this is what they know, and their brain is telling them this is what you are familiar with. This is safe. Even if good love or wholesome love is coming your way, your brain is like, we don't know this one, so we are not sure it's safe.
We should go for the one.
Let's go for, because your brain will convince you that, well, when your mom and your dad used to hit your mom, did your mother die? She didn't die. At the end of the day, didn't he buy her flowers and give her money? So you also survive. So your brain will adjust. We are all created to adjust. So when your brain adjusts and say, you may not like it consciously, but deep down somewhere, this is the norm, and you don't know any better, you don't know any other. So even if good love is coming to you, good love looks like a threat to you.
Yeah.
Hey, this is too good to be true. I know people who run away from relationships because it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
I can't do this. Hey, they be all fresh for me to check up on me. That's boring.
Yeah, why are you calling me?
People need some fire and drama and toxicity.
They want fighting and we are fighting every day. Yeah. That's what they want.
Because that's what it keeps them alive. It makes them feel this is life. Yeah. And this is what I'm used to.
Yeah. And when even people end up in such good relationships, they always think something bad is going to happen.
This is me. I'm guilty.
Something bad.
I'm guilty. I recognize that I have deep neglect and abandonment issues. Anytime I enter a relationship, I'm afraid they are going to leave me. Yeah. This is me being vulnerable right now. Like, this is one of my main issues. I'm very confident. Like, sometimes I can be very secure, but it takes something small to trigger me and feel, oh my God, they are going to leave me. Oh, they're going to leave me.
And it's not that you are weak, but it's just how you feel.
This is my brain cautioning me that, hey, girl, all your life, everybody has left you. Your dad left you when you were young. Your mom didn't have your time. All your relationship, hey, this one that they are being good to be true, too good to be true.
I felt that way before.
Are you sure it will last? Hey, it will end in tears, you know. And this is not me being enemy of progress, but this is just my brain cautioning me. And if only you can be truthful and how do I put it? If you can be objective and acknowledge that my brain is telling me this, and question, why am I behaving this way? Oh, it's not because they really want to leave, but it's because my brain is cautioning me that I have issues and I need to deal with. So that we don't make it, this is even getting into relationship, you don't make it about the other person. That, oh, you're good, and then we start accusing them. But we know that the fear is coming from us.
Yeah.
You are doing this. Is it because you want to leave me? Okay, so now you want to leave me. No. You are just protesting. You are just agitated and afraid.
The other person too is confused because it's like, who said I want to leave you? I know.
How did that happen?
I never said that. I never said I wanted to leave you.
There's a lot going on in our minds, and it just didn't. I just didn't get up and started being afraid of people leaving me. Something happened to me. Something happened to me that people don't talk about. And coming back to relationship, if people in relationship will begin to see each other as all of us coming from different part of trauma, trying to do life together, we'll be loving each other in empathy and compassion and understanding and kindness, rather than accusation and judgment. Because everybody, as for trauma, so far as you have a brain, the brain is a muscle. Something will happen to you, and it's important to be aware of your triggers, aware of your behaviors, your actions.
Triggers. So the things that set you off.
Yes, the things that remind you.
So how can somebody just know? So it's like you have to do a self-assessment.
Every time.
You have to just sit down and reflect on yourself.
Every time. Sometimes when
otherwise, you just never
you'll be living in a... Is it a bubble? You'll be living an unconscious life. You just live life and you think things are happening to you.
Why is everything this way?
Why me? Oh, people don't treat me well. I know people who are always complaining. Me de bia sana de me nya lucky wonipa hu say. Yes, it's true, but if you really sit down and ask yourself, how do I get into these situations? And you may find, and you are truthful to yourself, you may find that somewhere, it is maybe your inability to say no at a point, or your inability to say enough is enough, or your inability to walk away from certain situations that ends you with the same people. And the universe is set in a way that if you don't learn your lesson, it will keep coming back. You keep repeating it till you learn the lesson.
Yeah, it's like an exam.
Or you keep one pass here, try remedial. So you keep doing it. And one way to also know your triggers or your patterns is when there's a particular thing that often happens to you. Maybe in relationship especially. I use relationship because it is through our relationships that our traumas are unveiled or are triggered, because you are with another human being, emotions are clashing, there's hormones going back and forth.
And the true you manifest.
Thank you.
Like you are not pretend.
So relationship reveal you, and so you and if you see that, okay, I deal with that. See, in every relationship, it always ends like this. Or I always go for this particular types of people. Or I always end up with this. It's so similar. And if you're not careful, permit me to say, some religious people will attach it to spirituality and say me
something is
in holistic psychology we call something generational trauma. Some may say generational curses. It's the same thing.
Generational trauma.
Yeah, it's passed on